Hey, welcome to another episode of GeekOutdoors.com. So this week we're going to be talking about Google Maps speed limit and an ultra powerful Linux PC running AMD's Threadripper. So let's go ahead and start with Google Maps. Now, this is something that Google did release back in July of 2017, but it was only available to San Francisco and Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And this feature is something I think a lot of people would actually welcome, because what it does is it actually shows the speed limit in the particular area that you're at right through Google Maps. Now, this is a feature that is nothing new. Apple Maps has it. And more than that, the company that actually pioneered this was actually a company that Google bought, which is Waze. They've had this feature since 2016. So I could easily see where Google got this idea once they purchased that company. Now, although this is going to be a really nice feature, a lot of people would probably appreciate having less speeding tickets. It also shows another side of technology that I think a lot of us geeks know, and that is dependence. As you can see, with more and more of these technologies, making it easier for us to go through our daily lives and not having to think about a lot of things, it also takes a lot of things away from us. Meaning that, for example, before, people used to remember phone numbers. Now, it's really hard for me to do that. And also other things, like people used to write a lot better before all these technologies. Now people's handwriting is pretty horrible. Or even things like using a map, a regular map. I think a lot of people, especially younger people, probably don't know that concept versus just using it on their digital device. And so that is really the double-edged sword with all these technologies, mainly run by these big companies. In that even though they really improve our life in terms of making things more convenient, saving us a lot of time, and even making us more money because we do have more time to do other things and spend more time with our family, it does take away a lot of our independence, from being able to do things without having these technologies available. Now, for myself, I still like to keep a lot of the old school things so that I don't completely lose all my ability to do things on my own. For example, writing, I still write on notebooks. I still read real books. And every now and then, I still use old regular maps, and I do a lot of that to basically keep my skills up for those things, just in case that if these things are not available, I can still function and not go absolutely crazy without it. And so that is a Google Maps speed limit. Be sure to look out for it. Right now, it is on Google Pixel devices right now. And then later on, it's going to be pretty much on everybody's Google Maps app. So let's go ahead and get to the second bit of news. And this is something that I see very rarely, especially on mainstream sites like Forbes. And that is coverage of a Linux PC, a very powerful one. This one actually has an AMD Ryzen Threadripper CPU and 4 NVIDIA RTX GPUs. So just kind of look at this. This is called the Hades workstation. And so it has the AMD Threadripper that can go up to 64 threads. It has up to 4 NVIDIA RTX 2080 Ti graphics. It has a 128 gig of memory and up to 68 terabytes of total storage. Yeah, that is crazy. So this is actually a workstation. So it's really meant for people who are going to do, stuff like CG animation, and probably more, I think, geared towards movie makers. Okay. That's probably where I think this would really excel at, because of the simple fact that the AMD Ryzen Threadripper, with its multi-core setup, the actual insane amount of threads it could do, it's really good at handling multiple processes at the same time. And that is absolutely perfect for people who create content or for more professional grade things. And all of these features, they're pretty insane, even for a non-Linux PC. And if you actually go to the website itself, enter where Hades, you can see all the options here. It is pretty ridiculous what they give you. And honestly, at this price of $1,600, I think that's a good price. Obviously, if you build it yourself, you could probably build it cheaper. But for, them to offer everything, and most importantly, on Linux, that is really cool to me. I really enjoy seeing that. So you can see here, this is how they get up to the 64 terabytes. You can put in 8 terabit hard drives, and that comes up to 64 terabytes. So the reason why this really appealed to me, besides the fact that I rarely see any coverage on Linux related stuff, especially Linux PCs on a mainstream site, is because I myself built a complete Linux monster PC, as I like to call it. I actually made my PC back in December 7th, 2016, and I absolutely love this. I'll probably do an update video on it. I did this, about 2 years ago. or actually more than 2 years ago now. And I really am so happy that I did create a PC specifically built for Linux. And, honestly, even if I was running Windows, it would still run really well. And I really hope that we see more of these type of companies. And I know this is something that has been always a niche thing. If you think of like System 76, Dell has been making, Linux PCs for a long time, but it's never really gotten to the point where, people would consider, okay, I want a Linux only PC from the ground up. Most of the times you buy a Windows or even in some cases an Apple machine, and then you put Linux on it. Whereas these are built from the ground up to run Linux. And especially for power users, I think this will be something that's very appealing to them to be on the Penguin platform versus any of the others while having all the power that they need. So that is it for this particular episode. If you had any thoughts on Google Maps speed limit or this powerhouse of a Linux PC, be sure to leave it in the comments area below. And as always, if you did get value out of these videos, share, like, and subscribe. Hey geeks, if you are a creative geek like me and you wanted to learn how to create content on YouTube and other places on the internet, then check out my Gold Content Creators Group, where you'll get access to 30 videos plus additional content for all the creative geeks out there. And the best part of it is, all of this is free. Simply head over to the link below, check out my page, and sign up for my Gold Content Creators Group. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for checking out this episode. And as always, if you like these videos, be sure to click on the subscribe button. And for full written content, audio content, and additional geek stuff, head over to geekoutdoors.com, and I'll see you outdoors on the very next episode.